Welcome back, community of YouTube. Welcome back to our channel. This is Life in Shambles, and I want to personally thank you all so much for the love and support of my first video. I want to try to keep recording every other day and upload them. It is very hard to get quiet time in this chaotic life, so it's going to be being able to record in between getting any quiet time. I want to jump right back in and talk about life before addiction, older teenagers. My very first drug I ever experienced with was just marijuana. I don't fully buy into the whole recovery thing as it's a gateway drug. I never smoked pot and was like, hey, I want to go do this drug or this one. It never was like that. I just enjoyed it. And that was it. It wasn't until things were introduced to me, and of course my mind was like, yeah, I'll try that, let's go, that I started to experience everything else. But it was weird because when I smoked, I actually felt normal. Like, my anxiety, which, like I said, I didn't know it was anxiety back then, but I just felt I was able to interact better, hold a conversation better, not clam up better. You know, it was just really weird. And I never did anything bad either. I just smoked it, ate a bunch of stuff and went to bed. It wasn't a chaotic lifestyle yet. I also started smoking cigarettes, started smoking in my room, outside my bedroom window. And yeah, I started changing. Like, the path of changing was there. I also used to drink Smirnoff Ice a lot. I would have my friends come over and we would have a couple, and there's some pictures of me I saw in my room having this stuff, and to think back and look at before and then that, it's like, yeah, my life started going downhill. Probably should have stopped doing that then, but I liked how I felt. It's terrible to think about, but I liked it. I liked the wrong crowd of people, always liked being around the wrong people, but never anything hard yet. In high school, like, when I got older, I started just not caring at all. I used to try, and in the high school, like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, junior, senior high, I did try. And then around my 11th, 12th grade year, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to do whatever and then go to summer school because I was failing at everything. And I started smoking cigarettes in school bathroom, and I don't know why I was changing so much. It was a downward spiral. But yeah, I definitely experienced with that first. I was lying more, started not, like, I would lie to my dad. We had a cabin in the woods, and I would tell him going to my friend's house, typical teenage stuff. And I would go back into my woods and have some friends over and smoke and drink and have a bonfire and fun teenage stuff. It wasn't, until, like I said, until I started experiencing other stuff that it got out of control. But it was fun then. I wasn't being as reckless, and I liked going to my woods and doing that because I also felt safe. Yes, my dad would have kicked my butt from one end of our house to the other, but I also felt safe because I was still home. It was that security. And I will actually talk more on about the cabin later in my videos because there's a whole other part of this story. But yeah, I just started hanging out with the wrong crowd, smoking cigarettes, started lying. Then my mom I talked about my dad and how he was verbally abusive and all that to my mom, and he always degraded her. He got worse as I got older, and she's cheated on him, and I'm trying not to bring her too much up in my videos because I don't want to bad talk anything about her. I mean, she's still my mom. I love her with all my heart. So I want to make this, I'm trying to make it about me and my experiences too, but she had cheated on my dad, and then she had told me. Well, I was, 16, 17 years old, getting told that my mom's cheating on my dad by her. I definitely went the opposite way than what I should have. And then I would do really bad things. I would be like, well, if you don't buy me a pack of cigarettes. I'm going to tell Dad you're cheating on him. I was the worst, and I mean the worst daughter. I wish I wouldn't have been like that, but I can't change the past, but that's what I was like. And, oh, if you wouldn't drive me here, I'm going to tell Dad. I was so bad. And it was brutal. Yeah, it was bad, and I regret it. But at the same time, why would you tell your daughter that when, yeah, she saw how her father, like I saw how my father was to her, and I didn't like it, but cheating on him doesn't make it any better. And yeah, the drinking, I started drinking, and like I said, smoking cigarettes and smoking pot, and the lying and the bribing of my mom. It was bad. So then ended up happening, and then there was one time the guy's name showed up on her phone bill, and my mom comes upstairs to my bedroom. I had a friend over at that time, and she goes, I told your father you were talking to so-and-so's sons. Will you lie for me and tell him that's why? Because I think he knows. At that point he knew. And I was like, no, I will not lie for you. I can't. And then he came home. She had told him. He walked right upstairs to my room and asked me. And I looked him dead in the face and I told him the truth. And I told him the lie that my mom said. And yes, it was hard for me to do that because at the same time, I knew the hell she would go through with him. But at the same time, I can't look my dad in the face and lie to him about something, especially like that. I'll get into here that I did lie to my parents, obviously through addiction, and I hate myself for it. Can't change it. You'll learn from it, and you hopefully can, yeah, just keep learning from your experiences. But that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And all this stuff mentally, I mean, all the years through mental health, thinking back, I'm like, wow, my parents... I understand that no parent's perfect. I know parents make mistakes. I mean, no one's perfect. But that was a lot for a teenage girl to go through. A lot. And it started the path of everything. Destruction of life and stuff. So with all that information, that feels really weird to get it off my chest. Not to like mental health or a counselor or my husband, just to get it off and tell the world. And I know I might seem very nervous during this one, but I don't like talking about this because I don't like who I became at all. It got to the point where my mom had moved out and I stayed with my dad. And my dad and I, we did everything together. Like we went and did things in the woods, which we would cut down trees, pile brush, burn brush, put wood in the cabin. I had the best time, and it was nice not having him constantly yell at her. So that, it was nice. But yeah, I definitely saw me changing. Like in around junior high in school, I tried to fit in with the popular crowd. And I remember this one popular girl, she's like, well, you're not popular. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to be. Like, I can't, no, no. I always knew I was different. I always knew I was socially awkward. Like I said, I clam up. It was bad, but I would, yeah, I'm not going to, I can't. So yeah, so junior high, there was that. And then there was always attracted to like the bad crowd of people. So it all started. So I could see myself drifting, but I didn't do anything to stop it. But I was also just a kid. So if anyone else in that has relation to any of that trauma that I'm opening up, or just kind of understand if you didn't know anything about my past and you are just now watching, welcome to the shit show, I guess. Some of this video might have a little bit of rambling, because I'm trying to dig deep into all the feelings I had back then and the reason why I turned into the drugs. It was just really, really hard being a teenager, having your mom tell you this information and your dad treating her the way he did. And then me being treated good by both, but then always seeing my mom cry. It was so hard because it felt like I was torn between should I love this parent more? Should I love this parent more? Which parent should I stick up for? It was a lot of emotions just running through my entire body. And, you know, always feeling out of place, always feeling left out in situations, like in school and gym class. I was always left out. I was always picked last. Even though I was a dancer and I, you know, am always doing good, I was always like left out, like out of place. The black sheep of it all the way around. And a lot of this video is like a I think the right word is prequel of all that's going to happen during the life of addiction and all the mental health issues. It was just, you know, and I watched my dad cry for the very first time when she did this. And it was hard because I always watched her cry for so many years. She was also upset with me that I decided to stay with my dad, but I didn't want to move out of my house. And where she was going, it wasn't a home. And I wanted to be home with my dad. And I think she always thought, because she tried to be that's the other thing. She always tried to be my best friend and my sister and never my mother. But we were always close too. I could call her and tell her anything. And she always told me, so I think she also felt safe telling me this information. And I had one really good best friend. I will probably not talk about her very much. I had one best friend in high school. She was there through a lot of it. But it was me and her. I was very left in the dark with a lot of stuff, and I can actually see why I did choose the path I chose. You know, so we got bad in school. We got a chaotic, kind of a weird dynamic home life, and, you know, having anxiety and not knowing it. And yeah, the other part about me, I've noticed a lot of other people can probably relate to this, is I have a lot of empathy for people. When someone's going through I could cry. I could watch a video on anything and I feel the emotions just run through me. So yeah, with all that being said, thinking back, it was just, I wish things would have been different, but they weren't. You got a lot of introduction to a lot of things. I hope you all stay tuned for this upcoming journey on this channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video of Life in Shambles. That is another thing about this. My parents never talked to me about it. My dad was I was supposed to understand that it was his way or the highway. This is how he was. You know, I was supposed to just understand this is what's happening and be okay with it. With my mom, I was supposed to just understand what she was doing was okay. And I'll tell you what, it was thinking back, it was one of the hardest times I've ever had to go through, and I have been through a lot. A lot of people don't know this about my family unless you were really close, because my dad was very liked in our community, and my mom, she knew a lot of people too, so a lot of people don't know the truth, or they know some of it but don't know the whole situation. And it was a lot, and it comes into a whole journey that's upcoming next, because shortly after this all takes place is when I met another bad crowd of people, got involved with somebody, and that's when the harder drugs come in. So this video might have a lot of rambling and a lot of stuff going on. To explain the beginning, a little scattered. I don't really think about the very beginning much, so this is kind of hard for me to dig down and get it all out. But yeah, this opens the door to the first part of the abuse and the drugs and the life in shambles, but a good life afterwards. So stay tuned for upcoming videos, and thank you so much for all your love and support. Thank you, YouTube community. Bye!